will tell you about Tundra Ecosystem. What is tundra? Although Tundra Ecosystem is coldest of all biomes, it is also very big. Lands of tundra cover 1/5 of Earth. The word tundra comes from Finnish word treeless, which describes tundra. Tundra is located in Arctic Circle that is surrounding the North Pole. In Antarctica, there are areas that can also be described as parts of tundra. Climate and natural conditions. Tundra is the driest and the coldest of all ecosystems on Earth. It is almost no rain. It rains almost 10 inches a year. In tundra, winters are very long, but summers are short. There are only 6 to 10 weeks. The climate is severe in tundra. During winters, the temperature can fall down to minus 45.5 Celsius. Because tundra is close to North Pole, summer days can last up to 24 hours. Temperatures in tundra don't get above 10 degrees. That is just enough to unfreeze the ground. In summer, the ground is soggy because a huge amount of snow is melted. The water soaks into the ground. That is called permafrost. Permafrost is 6 inches below the ground and is frozen most of the year. The top layer of permafrost is getting unfreezed, but the inner layer of gravel material keeps frozen, all that keeps moisture in the ground. Tundra is a very cold ecosystem that gets lack of sun. Even though it has extreme temperatures, the power of wind isn't so strong. Common species in tundra ecosystem. In tundra, you can find lemmings, caribou, and Arctic hares. Lemmings. Lemmings are tiny rodents that are found in Arctic cycle. The smallest species of lemmings are the wood lemmings, measuring around 8 centimeters. Lemmings do not hibernate, instead survive the tough Arctic winters, with the lemmings having special fur that protects them from freezing. Lemmings spend the winter searching for bulbs and shoots that are often buried beneath the snow. Lemmings are really unusual animals, only coming together to mate, then separating again. While lemmings do live that long, they can live only up to 2 years because of the harsh conditions in their environment. They are small and their size is really tiny, and they are most common and easy prey for animals and birds. Caribou. Caribou are a member of a deer family and are adapted to live with harsh winter conditions. They are large and they have really big hooves that allow them to travel in deep snow landscape. Large herds often migrate long distances, 640 kilometers between summer and winter ranges. They eat leeches, dried grass, like plants, and small shrubs, which are a special type of bear. Arctic hares. The Arctic hares live in the harsh environment of cold tundra. The hares do not hibernate, but survive the dangerous cold winter with a number of behaviors and adaptations. They have thick fur and a low surface sheer body heat. These hares have quite short ears because sometimes they dig shelters in snow, sit there together to share warmth. Hares are a bit larger than rabbits, and they typically have taller legs and shorter ears like other hares. And rabbits, Arctic hares are fast and can speed up to 60 kilometers per hour. In winter, they have white fur that helps them and to hide and makes them to have a good camouflage. In spring, the hares' color change to blue-gray, which hides them in local rocks. Plants of tundra. It seems like plants have never managed to survive in such a cold biome, but supposedly plants got adapted to life in tundra. There is not much organisms that live here, but mainly flourish. Many leeches, mooses, small shrubs, berry, Arctic moose, caribou moose, diamond, leaf willow, Labrador tea, pasky flower, and the other tough, sexy fresh flourish in the Arctic tundra. The animals in tundra eat these plants to survive and gain energy to stay warm. Some plants are useful for humans. The growing season in tundra is short and lasts up to 60 days. Tundra plants get their energy from sun, through photosynthesis like other plants, but they are adapted to low temperatures and lack of sunlight. Plants in ecosystem use much more energy compared to tundra plants. The most common plant in tundra is bearberry. It grows only in the biome and feeds a lot of birds and animals. Adaptation of animals to the environment. Tundra is an ecological niche for many animals. This ecosystem has really harsh environments to which animals got adapted. Some animals in tundra are adapted to the climate by breeding their babies in the summer. Many animals are keeping their energy by sleeping in the worst parts of the year. Number of animals in this ecosystem are always changing because many animals are migrating. Most of animals are changing their diet every season. Lemmings. Tundra lemmings have many adaptations that allow to live in harsh environment. Some behavior adaptations that the lemmings have developed are migrating and burrowing. In the winter, they migrate to drier areas. Tundra lemmings do not hibernate, but burrow underground to escape the cold. Because they do not hibernate, the lemmings and all non-hibernating rodents. The amount of heat production is controlled by the thermoregulatory system. It is a system of glands that release melatonin to control the heat production. Physically, lemmings have teeth highly adapted to each plant matter. Caribou have also many useful adaptations for surviving in such a cold environment. They have compact bodies, small tails, and short ears. Because of compactness, their surface area is expected to the cold weathers of tundra and makes them to keep their body warm. The caribou's normal body temperature is at 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Even though their legs are long, the veins are located close together and keep the warm blood pumping through their heart. And these veins are warming them up. These long legs are well suited to walk and make turns on loose ground of plunging deep snow. And for under fur and thick coat of extra hairs on top, caribou are excellent swimmers. The hollow hairs help them to be buoyant in the water. Another adaptation for living in snowy conditions is the caribou's fantastic sense of smell. It is key to their winter survival. Polar bear. Polar bears also have some adaptations to their environment. Their white fur helps them to blend with the snow and ice. A polar bear has fat under its skin, which helps it stay warm. It is also having a thick layer of fur. A polar bear has wide paws that help the polar bear to walk in the deep snow. A polar bear has a really interesting adaptation that they can close their nostrils while swimming in the cold water. Walrus. Walruses also have a different interesting adaptation. For instance, most prominent adaptation of a walrus are their tusks. Walrus use their tusks to crack holes in ice and pull themselves out of the water and along the ice. They also use their tusks as a weapon when they fight for another territory. Other adaptations are sensitive whiskers, which help them locate the food, and the blubber under their thick skin, which provides energy and warmth. Walruses have small eyes and bad vision, so their whiskers are made to locate the mollusks, sea cucumber, crabs, and worms. Walruses use their back flippers to move themselves along the seafloor. With their lips and gums, they eat soft meat of their prey and break their shells. True walruses do not usually eat fish because of their huge size. It's hard for them to hunt them small. Adaptations of tundra plants. Plants which grow in tundra are really well adapted to survive in tundra's cold climate. Tundra plants are very small and low growing because of lack of nutrients. Growing close to the ground helps to keep the plants from freezing and being pulled out from the ground by wind. Plants have dark colors. Some are black and red, and that helps them absorb the solar heat. Some plants are covered with little hairs, which help them to stay warm and prevent from freezing. Some plants have flowers that are like a dish, which is following the sun, taking in more solar heat on the center of the flower, helping the plant to stay warm. For example, Burberry is a plant which has red berries and green leaves. This plant is surviving in the biome by staying close to the ground and avoiding high winds. Another plant in this harsh biome is Labrador tea. It has red leaves that use chlorophyll and sun to create heat. This plant has also hairy leaves to keep warm. Competition between animals in tundra. In Arctic tundra, all animals are either on the same team or constantly compete with each other. Two animals that compete are musk ox and caribou. The reason for them to fight is because the musk ox feeds on plants like seeds, sedges, and grasses, while the caribou eats berries, grass, and sedges. They normally fight over territory and take food away from each other. What do animals fight for? In Arctic tundra, the competition is not only about surviving. Animals are mostly fighting for food, territories, but there's also competition between the species. For instance, hares in tundra take turns guarding while others are eating. Competition for resources is a part of normal life in the ecosystem, but we know that there is always cooperation too. Competition between plants in tundra. Plants are also competing. They compete for water, living space, including access to light and minerals and so. Sometimes they compete for attention of certain pollinating animals. Competition of animals is more noticeable than competition of plants, but nevertheless it exists. Food chain of tundra. All ecosystems are very different, but they're all examples of biomes. A biome describes by non-living factors as geography and climate, and by living factors such as plants and animal species. The energy flow of biome includes producers, plants, and consumers. We take energy from producers. Consumers are divided in three parts: a plant eater, meat eater, or organisms that eat both animals and plants. Absolutely all ecosystems need decomposers, bacteria that takes energy from breaking down organic matter. In particular, the food chain of tundra contains some of the most amazing species on the planet, including gray wolf, polar bear, snowy owl, and Arctic fox. For tundra plants and animals, surviving is not just about living in a harsh environment of this biome, but it's equally about being a part of a complex food web. Food chain. The food web in Arctic tundra begins from predators such as owls, foxes, wolves, and polar bears. Predators hunt for plant-eating animals such as caribou, lemming, hare, mosquito, flies, and moose, grasshoppers, Arctic bumblebees, and the other insects are at the bottom of the energy pyramid. Many birds eat those insects. Threats to the ecosystem. The tundra ecosystem may seem very stable, but it's a very sensitive environment. The population is growing because of many people recently been moving to the tundra to work in the mines and oil industry. New towns and roads are being built to make the population grow. Development has interrupted many of animals' migration, feeding cycles, and as well as caused damage to the permafrost. In areas of tundra, there are also many natural resources such as oil. People worry the population from these mines and rings may ruin the fantastic ecosystem. A caribou migration route was interrupted by construction of Alaskan elk pipeline. In some places, the pipeline has been raised high enough above the ground for caribou to pass under it. Insects come to tundra in the summer, and birds eat them. Pesticides used to control insects may kill the insects, and the food chain can be badly affected. One of the biggest threats to alpine tundra is climate change. The heating temperature of atmosphere made by global warming because of the warmer temperatures is causing the permafrost to melt. The permafrost is melted. In the permafrost, when it will melt, it could mess up the whole ecosystem and the wildlife that lives there. But because of global warming, it would cause radical changes in climate of the ecosystem, which would mean that organisms living there would need to adapt to a new environment. Ski development in tundra is a threat because many slopes are made for humans to ski on. It is destroying the habitats in which the animals live. We need to be careful with the delicate tundra environment. Thanks for listening.